Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaivasa Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Grim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narotamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Shunvatam Sakatha Krishna Punya Savana Kirtana Hridayanti Stu Sabhadrani Vidonoti Shurisatam Nastapraisha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Tam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you.
So we are on the second canto, chapter 8, verse number 7. The Sanskrit is as follows. Hare Krishna. Yes.
We did verse 7 yesterday with Mataji Kasturi, Her Grace Mataji Kasturi. Today we are doing Canto 2, chapter 8, verse 8.
Okay, no problem. Asit yad uttarat pavmam loko samsthana lakshanam yavan ayam vai purusha iyata vai prithak tavan asho iti prukta samstavayam iva. Is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement. Then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of common living entities? Purport. Does anybody like to read the purport? Or you want me to read the purport? Okay, I'll read the purport. One should note how Maharaj Parikshit intelligently put questions before his spiritual master for scientific knowledge of the transcendental body of the Lord. It has been described in many places before this that the Lord is a gigantic body, like that of Ashkananda Dakshai Vishnu, from whose hairballs innumerable universes have generated. The body of Garbhodakshai Vishnu is described as sprouting the lotus stem within which all the planets of the universe remain. And at the top of the stem is the lotus flower on which Lord Brahma is born. In the creation of the material world, the Supreme Lord undoubtedly assumes a gigantic body. And the living entities also get bodies, big or small, according to necessity. For example, an elephant gets a gigantic body according to its needs. So also an ant gets its body according to its needs. Similarly, the personality of God assumes a gigantic body to accommodate the universes or the planets of a particular universe. There is no difference in the principle of assuming or accepting a particular type of body in terms of necessity. A living being and the Lord cannot be distinguished simply by difference in the magnitude of the body. So the answer depends on the specific significance of the body of the Lord as distinguished from the body of the common living entity. So, in the previous verse also, a question was asked by Maharaj Parikshit to Sukadeva Goswami regarding if the body is created or a body is given accidentally or some cause. And the verse for today, I repeat, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whose abdomen the lotus stem sprouted, it is possessed of a gigantic body according to his own caliber and measurement. Then what is the specific difference between the body of the Lord and those of the common living entities? And Srila Prabhupada explains at length. That is good to know the scientific, or good to know in a scientific way, the transcendental body of the Lord. We all know that the Lord has a transcendental body and is not bound by the three laws of nature. And each time he takes a body, it has a purpose. So there are many, many types of incarnations we know, or also called avatars. There's a Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Guna avatars, Yuga avatars, Manavantra avatars, and Saktavesha avatars. Each avatars are different. In this particular verse, or the purport, Srila Prabhupada speaks of the Purusha avatars. Now the Purusha avatars are those which are created from the body, not directly from Krishna. From Krishna comes Balaram, and from Balaram comes the quadruple expansions. And then from the quadruple expansions, Sankarshan is born Narayan. And then again from Narayan, the quadruple expansion. Then from the Sankarshan, we find the three Vishnus. The first Vishnu is called Kanadadakshay Vishnu. The famous picture in your Bhagavad Gita is you'll see Vishnu floating. It's not that he's held on anything, he's floating. And then his hair pores, or the sweat pores. So many planets are created by his breathing out. In other words, we are all in that breath. And this is how he creates. And then he creates from his navel, Garbhadakshay Vishnu. And from the Guru Garbhadakshay, in each planet, in each bubble, we can say, he sleeps or creates another Vishnu known as Garbhadakshay Vishnu, from whose navel comes out Lord Brahma. And Brahma is right on the top of the lotus flower. But in the stem, the 14 planetary systems are already there, existing. So the Lord assumes a gigantic body, like Karanadakshay body is a very gigantic body. And also living bodies, entities get body as per their necessity. As you require, you get your body. Just like an elephant. Prabhupada gives an example, gets a huge body, an ant gets a tiny body. And their needs are also in the same comparison. An elephant can eat a ton of grass. An ant is happy with a granule of food. It can be a grain, it can be sugar, an ant is happy. So according to one's need, the Lord provides also everyone. So the Lord assumes a gigantic word to accommodate the universes or the plans of the particular universe. And whatever is necessary for each living entity, they are posted to their relative planets. For example, now you can imagine 14 planetary system, very huge, and Earth is in between, halfway. Above us, there are 7 heavenly planets, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Mahaloka, like that. And on the top is the Brahmaloka, where Lord Brahma resides. And under us, or under the earthly planets, are the planets which are known as also hellish planets. Those who are known as the heavenly, these are known the hellish planets. Tal, Atal, Sutal, and so on. So these are the names of the lower planetary systems. So as per one's necessity, or as per one's desire, the Lord also gives a particular body to a particular living entity. So the answer depends, as Srila Prabhupada says in the last line, on the specific significance of the body of the Lord, as distinguished from the body of the common living entity. Now, what is the difference? In the Bhagavad Gita, if you read in the 10th chapter, verse number 6, I can read the verse for you. Ajo api sam avyatma bhutanam ishvaro api sam. Prakastim stam adastaya sambhavani atma mayaya. So that's 410. Sorry, not 410, 46. I'm sorry. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakastim stam adishtaya sambhavami atma maya. The translation is, although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Now here, a big difference is given between our body, or the body of a living entity, and the transcendental body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That the peculiarity of his birth is given in this particular verse. And what makes Krishna's body different? Or all the Vishnu forms, the body is completely different from a living entity. Number one, they are created from the internal potency and as per the desire or the will of the Lord. He will take that particular body. For example, Krishna doesn't have to work directly to work as Karanadakshaya. Vishnu, at the same time, Karanadakshaya is also Krishna. Or Garbhadakshaya, Vishnu, he doesn't have to give birth to Brahma. In other words, it is Krishna is giving birth to Brahma, but assuming the body of Garbhadakshaya Vishnu. So two things are very distinct. One is born from the internal potency of the Lord, and the second is that he can assume any body he wants to. If you read many parts of the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, the Lord's body is transcendental. The word transcendental means beyond the three modes, whereas our body is not beyond the three modes. Our body is created by Prakriti. Prakriti means material nature, and the material nature is consisting of the three modes. So in other words, Prakriti remains the mother for every living entity. And this is how a living entity is created. So the big difference is the Lord is born from the internal potency, we are born from the external potency. And at the same time, the external potency is dependent on Krishna or Krishna's will. As he desires, he creates. And when he desires, he also annihilates them back. So there can be many, many differences between the Lord's transcendental body and our body. Just like our body, if you see, it goes through so many miseries: birth, death, old age, and disease. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi, dukh, dosha, anudarshana. 13th chapter, Krishna explained to Arjuna how different kind of miseries are given to a living entity. But these are very common: birth, death, old age, and disease. But for Krishna, there is no birth, death, old age, or disease. So this may become questionable, that why does Krishna take birth? For example, when Krishna appeared on this material world, he took birth from Devaki. But before, if you read Bhagavatam in the 10th canto, it says before even taking birth from Devaki, he had actually appeared in the heart of Vasudeva, the husband of Devaki, who later became the father of Krishna. And from there, he entered into the heart of Devaki. And then Devaki bore Krishna for 9 months. Seems like an ordinary living entity when you hear. And when appearing, Krishna's appearing is unique. He appeared with four-handed form, and he even spoke to the Lord. Now one may think, how is this an imagination or truth? But the Bhagavatam doesn't speak of any imagination. Bhagavatam is truth. If you read Bhagavatam regularly, you'll find that it is all truth. It reveals the personal form of the Lord. So Krishna appeared as a Vishnu form and spoke to Vasudeva and Devaki about his unique appearance, and even reminded the parents of their previous lives, who they were. And not only that, even appreciated them, because to become parents of Krishna, no, not an ordinary thing. They are also devotees. Vasudeva and Devaki are pure devotees of Krishna. In the Bhagavatam, it says that Devaki, Vasudeva are same type of Krishna. Type means belong to the same category. It means they are transcendental. And then after, as soon as the birth was taken, when Krishna spoke of the previous lives of the parents, Krishna told them that when Devaki prayed, there are prayers offered by Vasudeva, prayers offered by Devaki. One of the last prayers offered by Devaki, she says, please hide this four-handed form, take a two-handed form. And then again she becomes scared that if my brother comes here, he is going to kill you. So try to hide yourself, or try to become like non-existence. It means to disappear. And Krishna said, no problem. To remove the fear of his parents, Krishna tells his father to take him away from the jail. He took birth in a jail to another place known as Gokul, where Mother Yashoda is there, who's given birth to a baby girl. Bring that girl here, you keep it there. So these are the orders which Vasudeva had to follow. So Krishna's body is all transcendental. Now, for the general mass of people, there are things which may bewilder him. If Krishna's body is not transcendental, then how can he create? Sri Prabhupada says, Krishna is one individual who creates so many, besides written in scriptures, Eka Bahusham. From one, he became many. And that many also includes us. We also, from Krishna, in one way also, we are avatars, but a different type. We are called Vibhinamsha. Vibhinamsha means separated from Krishna, not with Krishna. When you talk of Kanadadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, they are not separated. They are Vishnu forms. Whereas our form is not Vishnu forms. Our form is Bhautik, or known as a material form. Now, here the main question is the magnitude of the body, or the size of the body. Why Krishna had to assume such a big body? Well, there was a purpose for creation. That's why he assumed a big body. And why he assumed another body? Krishna takes a body, a kind of body, whatever is necessary. Like he appeared as Lord Ramachandra to kill Ravan, because Ravan could not be killed by others. Only person who can kill Ravan is a human being, with the help of the monkeys, because he considered the monkeys and the human beings to be ordinary or useless. So the Lord took birth as a human being to Mother Kaushalya and King Dashrath, along with his other three brothers, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughan. So we can read this in Ramayana about the appearance as Lord Ramachandra. Then the Lord appeared as Vaman. Vaman means like a dwarf, a short people. In Kenya also we have some people who are very short. And I heard that people who come from Congo also, they're very short people, very low height, 3 feet, 4 feet like that. So he appeared as a short form. That's why it's called Vaman. Vaman literally means short. But he's also called Upendra, because he's a brother of Indra. And at the same time, the Lord had a purpose to take that form. With that form, he went into the assembly, or the sacrificial assembly of King Bali, and he entered there. And as soon as he entered there, everybody was attracted by his brilliant body, effulgent body, including Bali Maharaj, who became attracted. And Bali Maharaj was very, very favorable, charitable to the Brahmanas. So he offered him whatever he wanted. And the Lord asked for 3 steps. And in 2 steps, he took everything. He had no place to give the 3rd step. So again, here the question you may ask about the magnitude. At that time, he took a very short form. In a Krishna avatar, he did not take the form of Krishna first. He took the form of Vishnu. And then later on, as we read of other avatars like Vaman avatar. Vaman avatar is like a boar. There was a necessity. So again, the question of magnitude comes, that there was a necessity. Now, this boar was not the one we find in Kenya or in India. This boar was a massive boar, golden in color, went into the water and removed the earth, which was drowned, the earth's planet itself, so that the living entities can reside on that. And he also fixed that earth on its orbit, so it started revolving. So this is the work the Lord does. He takes different bodies. So Maharaj Parikshit is very intelligent, is asking so many questions. He wants everything very clear, black and white, what is going on. It's not that he's hearing Bhagavatam, his only interest was to go back home. No. He's also asking many, many questions. So which also shows that he's very, very intelligent, Maharaj Parikshit. Some of the questions were so good that it pleased Sukadeva Goswami. As he was speaking, Sukadeva Goswami was very pleased when he asked questions. For example, if you go towards the end of the 1st canto, he asked a question which we have discussed many, many times in our class. He asked Sukadeva Goswami, what should a man do who knows he's going to die? What should he hear? What should he chant? What he should remember? And whom should he worship? In one question, 4 questions. And if you hear the Bhagavatam, that it is answered to this particular question. The whole Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses. So in this way, Maharaj Parikshit is very intelligent. At the same time, he's fearless. People who are fearful, they may not ask questions, but he is fearless. He is not affected by his hunger or thirst. He's hearing with so much enthusiasm that Sukadeva Goswami felt joyful to speak to him. And Sukadeva Goswami went on speaking and Maharaj Parikshit went on hearing. So this is the beauty of transcendence. As you hear the transcendental nature of the Lord or about the transcendental body of the Lord, you keep enjoying Bhagavatam. In fact, Bhagavatam itself is a transcendental form of the Lord in the form of a book, literary incarnation of the Lord. So, how should we see the Lord? Many people, those who are very new, may come across this word transcendental. And they may ask, why you use this word transcendental? Transcendental literally means which is unaffected by the 3 modes of nature, and it has no tinge of materialism. That's why it's called transcendental. It's in pure goodness, not even goodness, but pure, transcendental goodness. So that's the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada explains the purport that how the Lord creates and then how living entities are created from Brahma himself. And the Lord has to have this gigantic. So in really speaking, for the purpose of creation, he assumed a gigantic body and such a big body. And then he did his mission. He did his work, and it's not right now, he's not there. He is there. You should know that when he's holding his breath, we are all alive. When he sucks his breath back, we'll all die. or die, not die, but we'll all be annihilated. We'll return back into the body of Brahma. Brahma will be sucked back into Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu will also go into Karanadakshaya Vishnu. And with all the living entities, will stay in there till their karmic reactions are not over. So there's our lifespan literally is very, very long. What is the lifespan? Is the time you are created and the time you return back home, back to God is our lifespan. Not the typical lifespan of the earth. Earth here, in a year, people live for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, few live over 100 years. But really speaking, our body is, our life is millions and millions of years long. But if you surrender to Krishna, then this time becomes shortened. It's like a discount. It's given, the time span is made so short. Elsewhere in the Bhagavatam is explained that just like to cross an ocean is not easy. From one end of an ocean to another end, even if you take a plane, it will take you so many hours. By ship, it may take you many days. And for a swimmer, you won't make it at all. So that ocean is called Bhavasagar. Bhavasagar means to become again and again, or to assume different bodies on this planet. And then after that, we'll go back home. If we take the shelter of Krishna, how do we attain shelter of Krishna? It's two ways. Either take Krishna consciousness with the help of a spiritual master, or the other one is if you meet a pure devotee of Krishna. Two ways. In most cases is by the association of pure devotees. We accept the path of devotional service. And by practice of devotional service, diligently, we come out of this body. Now, we've been talking about the body of Krishna. We should also see our body. Our body, as we said, has to undergo birth, death, old age, and disease. But at the same time, our body is very special. The human body is like a boat, a perfect boat, prepared to take us over this ocean of birth and death back to Krishna. But now that's only a human body, not other bodies. So if you attain the body, human body, then value it. Because the value of a human body is much more than that of an animal. Why human body is so special is because it has a fully developed consciousness. And a human body can distinguish right and wrong if educated properly. And if it's educated properly in spiritual science, then everything is okay. That means that will be, and if he follows the spiritual science or the spiritual rules and regulations, just like in our ISKCON, we have certain rules and regulations, like following the regulated principles, fixed timetable, good association, good food, many things. So if you follow this timetable and the rules and regulations properly, then we become purified. A question may be asked, why we perform the process of bhakti? Bhakti actually means purification of senses. Our senses generally are contaminated. They're polluted. Just like even if you close your eyes, you can see so many things happening. Like yesterday in Kenya, I think it was quite a serious day. We all worried what is going to happen. And so many activities went on. Some people were injured, some people died. It was a kind of a chaos. At the same time, it also had some good results. So in this way, in our human life, we can know what to do, what not to do. So we should use our intelligence use our intelligence in the human form of life to return to Krishna. Even you may have been born as a common living entity, common living human being, but you can always ascend upwards towards Krishna by taking shelter of a pure devotee. We all have an inbuilt nature, and this nature can be purified by getting in contact with Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness helps you, or helps one, even to transcend this human body and attain a body which is suitable to enter into Vaikuntha, not that of a demigod. Many people think that demigod body is very special. Yes, it's better than us, but not very special. Rather, human body is more special, because it's only in human body you can distinguish right and wrong. You see happiness, you see distress, you get all the balances. And then you can decide whether to stay here or to return to Krishna. So in short, the scriptures help you build up Krishna consciousness. They teach you Krishna consciousness. Along with that, how to practice Krishna consciousness. And then it also gives the way out to come out of this cycle of birth and return to Krishna. So this human form of life is very, very important. Not an ordinary body. So in other words, qualitatively, there is equality. Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. Satchida means his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. At the same time, he has an eternal body, whereas we also have those qualities, but in a very minute form. We also have knowledge, we are also eternal. There is a bliss in our soul, and soul also has a body, but a very tiny body. So quantitatively, there's a very, very big difference. Qualitatively, there is an equality. Now, this qualitative equality still cannot be understood if you don't practice Krishna consciousness. So as you practice Krishna consciousness, then you can realize this, that what you are doing and how you return, I mean, why you are suffering, why you're enjoying it. Like all of you, I think most of us have read this book of Srila Prabhupada, which is called Science of Self-Realization. It begins with questions. Very first chapter begins with questions. And the whole book is dependent on those questions. And Srila Prabhupada takes us through 8 sections. Why is the necessity of Guru? What is spiritual science? What is Bhagavad Gita? So many other subjects. In the end, he also gives us the love of Godhead. So it's advisable to read that book thoroughly, not just once, but at least 2 to 3 times, so that we get a picture of who is, what changes we can make in us, improve our way of life, and increase our determination in Krishna consciousness, which also means increase our faith in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I'll end the class here. Hare Krishna. Any questions, any comments, any additions, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you for that beautiful class. Yeah, maybe in this class of the knowledge of the transcendental activities of Krishna, I came one question on the Bhagavad Gita verse 4:7, which says, "One who knows me, who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activity, does not upon leaving the body take his path again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode." So my question is Krishna here emphasizing on the knowledge of Krishna just to be as good as bhakti, since both of them lead to liberation?
Yes.
Does that mean somebody can just actually endeavor in knowledge and not bhakti, because they lead to the same destination?
Yeah. To accept that knowledge is not easy. If you go to that verse, it's chapter 4, verse number 9. Janma karmacha me divyam. evam yo veti tattata. Tyakta deha punarjanma naiti mameti shaja. Krishna says, whoever knows Divyam, Divyam means my transcendental. We do hear about Krishna. We do have knowledge about Krishna. But at the core, at the bottom of our heart, do we accept it to be transcendental? When we read, in the beginning, it's very attractive. If we think about it, we may think that it may be an imagination. But when we get faith in Krishna, then we accept that Krishna's body is transcendental. So not many people will accept this. For example, if I ask you that can a 7-year-old boy lift a mountain? If I ask you a question.
Very hard to accept.
Not possible.
Not possible.
Forget, even to hold a glass like this in my hand, for 7 minutes is not easy because I'll feel the pain on my body. Now, that is one evidence that Krishna's body is transcendental. He did not just carry it by lifting it. He lifted it on his finger like this finger, left finger, for 7 days and 7 nights, without shaking, without moving. There were devotees who were scared, but his friends were a bit scared. Krishna said, don't worry. Come under me. Come under this mountain. Nothing will happen to you. Indra's rain will not do any harm to you. So come along with others, along with your animals. So everybody entered under that mountain, and Krishna held that mountain for 7 days and 7 nights. That is a proof of transcendental body. Now, when Prabhupada says, or Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam, whoever knows my transcendental appearance and activities does not upon leaving the body come again, is freed. So it's a shortcut. But the question remains to all of us, to individual selves. Do we really accept it? If we accept it, then we'll definitely accept devotional service. We'll definitely follow the rules and regulations of the devotional service. Because there is no devotional service without rules and regulations. There are rules and regulations, which naturally we'll accept. And that will prepare us to go back home, back to Godhead. I'll give you another example. If you hear the story of Ajamila, have you heard the story of Ajamila? No? Ajamila was the one who spoke Narayan at the end of his life. I'm just giving you remembering. When Ajamila died, he just called one name. Now in the Janma Karma Chame Divyam, it says, if you know my birth and appearance. In Ajamila, he did not have to do anything. He just uttered the name of Krishna. And he prepared to go back home, back to Godhead. So if you hear the story of Ajamila, it is still more easier. That simply by utterance of Krishna's name, one prepares oneself to go back home, back to Godhead. That is why in ISKCON, Sri Prabhupada has advised us, all of us, to chant the holy name regularly, as many times as you can, so that you become so purified that at the end of your life, you go back home, back to Godhead. Is it okay?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Anybody has any other questions? In fact, in Kali Yuga, it's more easier to go to Krishna. It's by taking the shelter of the holy name. Here, you don't need so much knowledge. You just have to chant. And if you chant, the name will work. Just like a diseased person is given some medicine by a doctor, maybe some tablets, some tembe, and he just takes them, he'll be cured. The same way, we simply have to chant. And if you chant Hare Krishna, you become purified and return to Krishna. It's okay? All right. If you don't have much questions, we can end up here. Indulekha Mataji, you like to say something?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so
Yes.
much for this nice class as usual, and you enlightened us a lot about the bhakti, about the how to trust Krishna, how to put our faith in Krishna, how Krishna is transcendental, and you explain about what is the meaning of transcendental. Very nice, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you for helping all of us carry out through this journey. And if nobody has any questions, I will request everyone just to unmute and let's chant the Maha Mantra to glorify Rukma Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhaiva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnavin ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai, Rukma Das Prabhuji ki jai, Eldoret Yatra ki jai. Everybody jai for you who attended this class, because this 45 minutes to 50 minutes or 1 hour that we have spent here, that nobody can take from us, that we are taking with us. No money will go with us. It is said that in the dead body, on the cloth on the dead body that is wearing a cloth, there is no pocket, so we cannot put a note in there. But this nobody can steal. It will go with us. And in this 1 hour, we have nothing on mind except for Krishna's thought. So there is nothing that, oh, this one told me this, I have to do this, I have to go here, I have to, nothing. It's just this class here. So whoever is speaking, they take their time, their energy, the intelligence, they do some research and they come and they share this knowledge with us. We should be very, very grateful, thankful, and always try to ask some questions, to say some nice words to encourage the speaker. So thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, everyone. And I wish you all a very blissful Krishna conscious night. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji, and everyone.
Hare Krishna.